Hello and welcome to Extra Time. I'm Gary James and our guests are boxer Lennox Clarke. Welcome Lennox, thanks for coming on. And editor of Often Partisan and author Daniel Ivory. Daniel, thanks very much for coming on as well. Guys, if we can start with boxing, we'll come to you, Lennox. I know you've got a massive fight coming up in a few weeks' time. We'll come on to that in a minute. But let's just go back to starting point. At what age did you start boxing and why?
Well, in comparison to most boxers, I started quite late. I was 19 when I first walked into the gym, whereas most kids have started from their youth, the younger ages. So I was kind of fast-tracked through the stages. I walked into my local gym, which was just a normal amateur boxing club. Just put on the gloves, asked straight away if I could spar. Jumped in the ring. I got beat up the first time. So each day I was going back for revenge, basically. And before you know it, I just started enjoying it, and it come natural to me, really. So I had a few amateur fights. I won most of them by knockout. I think I had 10. I won 9 by knockout. So that was good, like, to start me off. And then there was a local pro in the gym. He said, "You're too good for this. You need to move on." And he pointed me in the direction to where I'm at now, which is at the pro gym in Wednesbury, where the lads were on the other day, Sid and Dave.
Oh, Sid and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm training alongside them. So I'm just here now, pro now, so it's all going well.
And you're what, 23, 24 now?
23 now, yeah.
So literally 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
That's unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, Anthony Joshua is on my next show. He started quite late, and he's managed to do it, so I don't see why he's any different to me. So I think this is it now, yeah, it's my time.
So building up to 19 and walking into that gym, what were you doing before? Did you, because you're from Halesowen, and that, were you into like a lot of sports people? Were you into football at school? Do you think you were going to be a footballer, or? No,
I was just I was doing mechanics at the time, and it wasn't really for me. So I was looking for another career path, and I chose boxing, and it went well. So. Yeah.
And was that something that was maybe in your family going back, or?
Well, a lot of people say, I mean, my dad's called Rocky. I've got an older brother called Lewis, and obviously I'm Lennox, so people say you're all named after boxers, but as it happens, we're not. So it's just a...
Yeah, it is too much of a coincidence,
yeah,
really.
It is, yeah. So, no, I had no boxing history. No. Just got on it myself. Yeah.
Fantastic. So what have you had to give up? What have you had to sacrifice in those 4 years to get where you are now?
A lot, really, mate. I mean, kids my age, adults my age, are out drinking every weekend, eating a load of rubbish foods. Yeah. It's basically living that lifestyle, the party lifestyle. But as a boxer, you have to eat clean. You can't go out. So it's kind of a lonely sport. Do you know what I mean? So I've had to give up a lot, really. Yeah. So you started amateur. You're now full-on professional. Yeah, it's what you do for a living. Yeah. So you earn your corn. 7 fights. Yeah. No defeats. 3 knockouts. Yeah. And the last fight you had was a few months, a month ago. Yeah, it was the 21st of February down at Bescott Stadium. Yeah.
And that was your belt fight. What was that for? What was that belt for?
That was for the Bronze Masters title, British Masters. Yeah, it was 8-rounder against Stan Blackwell. He's a tough lad, and he took me through the rounds, but I needed that for the experience, like so. Went well, got the win.
Yeah. And it went the full 8 rounds, like you say. But was there a point that you thought, Lennox, actually, I think I've got this?
Well, normally, as I come out in the fights, after the first minute or after the first 30 seconds, I kind of realise I've got this person. I know I've got the edge on him. So I knew straight away I had him. It was just whether I was going to take him out of there or I was going to win by points. And as it happened, I won by points. So either, mate, I'm happy with. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
got the win and got the purse.
That's it, mate, yeah.
And coming up on the 9th of May, it's an Eddie Hearn matchroom contest, isn't it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive stage for me to be on, in front of all the cameras and Sky Sports, and there'll be the whole of England watching, whole of the world watching, so people can hear about me and know what I'm about in the ring, and I know about Lennox after the 9th of May. Yeah.
And do you know much about the guy you're fighting?
I've watched him a few times. His game's tough. He's going to come for it. But that style of fighter suits me. He's going to walk onto everything I'm going to give him. Yeah.
And hopefully, are you into boxing, Dan? I know you're big into football. We'll talk about that later. But
it's never really been a sport massively I've been into. I mean, obviously there's the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight on the 2nd of May, which I think the whole world will be watching. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I was always the kid getting beaten up in the playground, so maybe I should have got into boxing. I don't know.
I just think because obviously as an author, as a writer, you write for a lot of publications, and we'll talk about it later. I didn't know whether you covered that in any way. Or...
I haven't. I just never really had time. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should take more of a chance to watch it.
Oh, we get Lennox to get you down the gym.
Well, I could probably do with it, yeah. But
so growing up and boxing wise, then watching it on TV, were you doing that? Heroes?
Well, of course, you know I'm going to say Mike Tyson, because everyone says Mike Tyson is an entertaining boxer, and that's what I modelled myself on as I was coming up earlier on in my career. But now I tend to sit back and box more, a bit cleverer. So, yeah, it's Mike Tyson really is my favourite. That's who I watch all the time, because he's a good boxer, yeah.
And okay, you've had seven fights. You're saying obviously 7 wins, but out of those 7, which was the hardest?
I'd say it was my 3rd fight. I'd say, because in the amateurs, I was kind of taking people out of the ring, so I wasn't used to people being able to hold what I had. And in my 3rd fight, it was against Sean Law, and I mean, he put me through my pace. He just kept walking me down. But without that fight there, I'd never be in such good stead for my other fights, because I'd never been put through that pressure. But it was a good learning fight for me, do you know what I mean? It made me step up my training and work a lot harder in the gym. So it's made me who I am today, do you know what I mean? I train like a beast all the time, so that's it, mate.
And what, you're a super middleweight?
Yeah, I was super middleweight. Now I'm just coming down to middle.
Right.
Yeah, which is super middleweight's 12 stone. I'm coming down to 11.6.
Right.
Yeah, because I think that'll be a better weight for me. Yeah.
And that's control and more training, diet, or
more dieting, yeah, more discipline. That's all it is, yeah. Yeah.
And what's the we're talking about the fight coming up, but what's the ultimate goal? Where do you see yourself in a couple of years' time?
Well, of course, I want to be in big fights. I want to take the area title, the Midlands area title first, and obviously I've got my sights on the British, then European, and obviously every boxer's dream is to be a world champion. Yeah. So you never know, in 5 years' time I could be there. That's where I want to be. So.
And will it mean that as you move on in your career and you win more fights and more titles, is the pressure then to move out of the gym that you're with at the moment and with the team around you, or do they grow with you?
Well, I'd like to say they grow with me, because I wouldn't like to change nothing that isn't broken. At the moment, I'm happy down there. I've got a good team around me. There's a good atmosphere where I'm training. Do you know what I mean? So at the moment, I'm happy. So I wouldn't want to change nothing at the moment.
Yeah, and I think you got a good guy doing some of the PR work behind the scenes as well with
Dan Mole.
With Dan Mole from UKO Boxing.
He's wicked, yeah.
He's a good lad, isn't he?
Good fella, man.
That's his stuff. He's a great lad. He really is. And coming to diets for you, what is it? Lots of carbs? Is it lots of protein? What?
Well, it's basically like I'm eating smaller portions every 2.5 hours throughout the day. But I mean, before I turned pro, I'd never had to diet. So this dieting to me has come as a bit of a shock. Do you know what I mean? Having to make weight, it's stressful. So I mean, it's little carbs more regularly, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
And regarding sort of a home life, I mean, are you single at the moment, or are you?
Yeah, I'm single at the moment. Yeah. I mean, as a boxer, it's hard because we're constantly in the gym and training, so it's that takes a lot of our time up. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just training all the time. Do you know what I mean? Focusing on the job ahead of me. Yeah.
And do you go? Because some boxers go to training camps abroad. Has that happened to you yet, or is that something for the future?
That's something that I'm definitely looking towards in the future, as the fights get bigger and the opposition get harder. Yeah. But I think I'm going to go out in the summer anyway, just for a holiday and just train hard out in Marbella or Tenerife. Yeah, something that I'll do.
Yeah, they seem to be the two places, don't they?
Yeah.
Where the fighters go.
It's quite hard for Marbella because you've got the party life and you've got the thing life. But I wouldn't get distracted. I'll just go there with my mindset on what I've got to do. Yeah.
And do you get? Is there a backup plan, or is it solely boxing? I'm just thinking, if something didn't go your way.
Yeah.
You know, back to fixing cars, or
Back to fixing cars, I think. Yeah, back to the garage. But I think boxing is going to go my way. My plan now is just to do well at what I'm doing now. So at the moment, now it's just to stay at boxing and stay dedicated.
Yeah.
And I think I've got the tools to go where I need to go.
Yeah. And maybe somebody like Dan there, with some boxers, they have their biographies written and all that. Is that something one day?
Yeah. I'll have to get in touch with Dan to write my biography, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, time for us to take a break. Please join us in a couple of minutes for the second half. But now it's half time on Extra Time, and if you'd like to get in touch, it's extratime@bigcentre.tv. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. See you soon. So welcome back, I'm Gary James, and this is the second half of Extra Time with Lennox Clarke and Dan Ivory. Guys, Lennox, just before the break there, just finishing off on your boxing and the fight coming up, what I wanted to ask you, leading us very nicely onto football, you're from Birmingham, from Halesowen, so are you a Blue Nose? Are you a boing, or...?
Yeah, well, I'm not really a football fan, but if I was going to support a team, it'd be the Baggies, yeah. West Brom.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan. Dan, thanks for coming on. You run the website Afton Partisan, which is linked obviously Birmingham City Football Club. You're an author. You write for the Mail, and the Express and Star, and
for a few people, yeah,
quite a few. But the big one is the book, and you put together Haircuts and League Cups. Here's the book. Can we get that? We've got that there. So tell us a bit about the book and how it came about, and then we'll have a little bit of chat about how you actually got into writing.
The book came about after a chance conversation, would you believe it, in a Hong Kong bar. I'd gone out there to talk to a couple of people for Carson Young's trial, and I got introduced to my co-author Will, who's a solicitor out there. And you know how it is, you talk about things, you talk about what's going on, and Will's he's a Tottenham fan, and he said there's one hell of a story here, and the more I thought about it, the more I agree with him, because it's been an absolute roller coaster ride. So, with his legal expertise, being able to talk about what was going on with Carson Young, and he's got a myriad of connections. He knows everybody out there, so all the major players, we could talk to them, we could find out in depth what had gone on. Obviously, me being a Birmingham City fan, I've been to the games, I've seen that sort of side of things, so they kind of mesh together well. And I think we've tried to uncover some of the mystery around a fairly mysterious guy. You know, Carson came to the club in 2009. I don't think anyone knew much about him, and I still think to a degree people don't know that much about him now.
Yeah, well, he was, but I mean, he was a saviour, so the fans thought, for the club back then. But first of all, how did you and Will meet? How did you get together?
A mutual friend of ours, a guy called Johnny, that I know and that he knows. Strangely, he knew someone who wanted to buy the football club. He never came off. He never even came close to coming off. But he was a reader of Afton Partisan. He was out there in Hong Kong, and he introduced us. You know, as I say, it was in the Foreign Correspondence Club bar. Apparently, a lot of businesses transacted there, and it's just one of those sort of things. It was fate smiling down, I guess.
Yeah, and I know you spent some time with Carson over in Hong Kong. How did you find him as a person?
I met him twice out there. He's definitely a football nut. There's no two ways about it. He does care passionately about the football. I don't know. I personally liked him. You know, he likes the same as all the other blokes I know. You know, he likes to have a drink. He likes to sing. He likes to chat with women. You know, he likes to gamble. I don't know any Blues fan that doesn't like any of those sort of things. But unfortunately, some of the company he kept, I think, led him into some fairly choppy waters. And yeah, you know, his English isn't brilliant. My Cantonese is non-existent, so I couldn't really talk to him that much. But yeah, he seemed all right. I liked him.
Yeah. And how's the book doing? Because it's been out for a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been out since last October. We launched it here in the UK. It's doing okay. Could always do with selling more copies, but you know, that's the way it goes. It's
well, go to the website. You know?
Yeah, website haircutsandleaguecups.co.uk.
Yeah, there we go. Get a plug in. That's all right.
Yeah, it's going all right. You know, we've not been sued yet, so that's got to be a plus, I guess. I think we've had a lot of good feedback. A lot of people who have said, "Oh, I really enjoyed that," because it is quite a dry book and there's a lot of background and a lot of research gone into it. But I think a lot of people have liked the fact there's a lot of thought being brought into what's gone on and why it's gone on, and people understand now that there's gaps in the knowledge being filled. So we've had a lot of good feedback. We was in When Saturday Comes magazine this month. They gave us a good review as well. So it's all good. It's all good.
Well, it's good. I mean, there's loads of rumours been flying around for quite some time now, hasn't there? Of what's going to happen, what isn't going to happen. We can't say too much other than what's been in the news already, where there's, I think, something like 7 potential bidders.
There's 7 indicative non-binding offers, apparently, according to the last announcement to the stock exchange. But we don't know if they're going to accept any of them, if they're going to negotiate with any of them. And there's a whole myriad of possibilities because Carson, you know, has up to now indicated he doesn't want to sell the club anyway, and he's fighting it. Of course, he's fighting his prison sentence as well. So it's not going to be a quick solution. All we can hope for is that something's done before the start of the new season.
Well, from your knowledge and your contact with lots of Blues fans, if I had a magic wand and can wave it, what would you and the rest of the fans want to happen?
I really couldn't speak for other. I wouldn't want to be a spokesperson for other fans, but I can tell you what I want.
Okay.
I'd want someone to come in who could run the club like a business. I mean, it runs as a business now, but I'd like one that had a bit more money about it, who cared. So they put money in when it needed it, and would be willing to back the manager and willing to back the infrastructure, that sort of thing. I'm not too fussed about now. I know a lot of people want a British owner. I'm not actually that fussed about nationality as long as someone's based here in Birmingham. That's the main thing. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any coincidence that we've got better since Panos Pavlakis has been involved with the club because he's based in Birmingham. He's a visible figurehead.
And definitely some of the games I've been to, he's there in the director's box and he jumps up and down and he screams and he shouts and he's passionate. But I think the fans like that.
Yeah, but people also need to see that someone's there. The absentee ownership is poor. It's one thing to rail against club owners, like against Sullivan and Gold when things weren't going great, but when those club owners aren't there and haven't been there for months and are 6,000 miles away, it's hard to rail against an empty space. You need a figurehead there. It's really important. I think that's part of what's going to happen as well. It's got to be someone who's at least got a presence here.
Yeah. And the club at the moment, Gary Rowitz came in. That was a godsend, wasn't it, really?
Inspired bit of business, I think. I remember when he came in, we just lost 8-0 to Bournemouth. The mood around the place was shocking. The morale was bad. Everyone, I think, had given up. Everyone thought we were going down. Yeah. And now here we are, 4 games to the end of the season with nothing to play for, absolutely safe, playing some nice football. We've actually got players on the team who people are getting excited by, and it's such a quick turnaround. And there's Gary resplendent in his V-neck jumper, looking like a fashion model or something like that. And I think people like that as well. Yeah. I've got a lot. I know Lee Clarke wasn't popular towards the end, and as a person, I kind of feel for him because I know he really cared, but as a manager, he really had to go. He was not the required calibre for the club, unfortunately.
As a Baggy supporter, then, Lennox, they're not quite safe yet, are they?
No, I wouldn't really call me a Baggy supporter. As I grew up as a kid, then I did go to the games, but I really don't follow football now. Okay. It's just boxing really for me, mate.
Yes. But you'd like him to stay up?
Of course I would, yeah. My uncle's a crazy Baggies fan. Yeah. So he's at every game.
I think they'll be safe. I can't see the Baggies or the Villa going down, so I think
I mean,
safe.
It's still tight, but I think you're right. I think one more win each, and I think the teams around them are, I think the bottom 3 then. Come on, let's put you on the spot. Bottom 3 in the Premiership. Who's going to go?
Leicester, unfortunately. I would say Burnley, and I don't think it's going to be QPR. I think it's going to be one of Hull or Sunderland. I think probably Sunderland. They've looked absolutely appalling. They brought in Advocaat, who's like a decent manager, but the players look shot. The players look absolutely shot, and I can see them just plummeting. I think Steve Bruce knows enough at Hull to keep them out of it. So
yeah. And of course, Steve, as you know, years ago was a Blues manager. Yeah,
he was good for us. He got a bit stale towards the end, and I think he kind of lost the passion. I think that. Well, again, Carson came on the scene just as he was going. Yeah. And I think it was Carson coming that kind of accelerated his departure out of the club. But by that time, I think we got a bit bored of him, he'd got a bit bored of us. And He's a lovely bloke. He's a great man manager, and I think it's shown. You know, you look at the other teams he's managed in the Premier League. He's always done a fairly good job. He's kept teams up. You know, he's built some not brilliant, not outstandingly flair teams, but great workers, great battlers, and yeah, kudos to him. You know.
Yeah. I know Gary's done a fantastic job, and one of the new lads, and I think he's played 2 games, hasn't he? He's Fabrini. What a breath of fresh air he is. He has been an outstanding talent. Fabrini has. I was a bit unsure about signing him. I didn't really see the point, but when you see him on the ball, like 2-footed, you know, he kind of like dances away from players. Yeah. He's always in space, and he gets people excited. And you think, okay, you know, I can see he's going to put a couple of thousand on the gate, maybe. If we can sign him, that'd be brilliant. You know, he's got an Italian cap. He's going to be something special. Oh, he is. He's a great player, and it's a shame. It seemed when he played against Wolves, that was his first game, wasn't it, for the Blues? And he struggled a little bit. He was slipping over a little bit, but then there were 2 or 3 on him all the time, and the only way they could stop him was to take him out of the game.
It was the same last night. You know, he has this magical ability to create space around him. He can get away from players. He just turns away, and like there was times there were 3 Blackburn players on him, and he'd just take the ball away from them like they weren't there. And fans love to see that. You know, that's why we go to football games, to see skill and passion as well. So
brilliant. Okay, well look, the book's out, Haircuts and League Cups. And if you just Google that, that will come up, and you can get your copies in there. But as the final whistle approaches, our thanks to Lennox and Daniel. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Been a pleasure having a chat to you. And if we're not talking about the sport you love, please get in touch. It's Extra Time at bigcentre.tv. That's it. It's full time on Extra Time. Bye-bye.